We are coming together today with some new people in the studio. We're excited about it. We have a lot new happening. We've switched the way we can make our video presentation online. We're stoked about it. First, we're joined with my wife of 24 years over to my right-hand side. How we doing?
I'm doing really
you
well.
You got flannel on. Like, is it?
I know, a flannel and pumpkin.
Yeah, isn't
coffee.
it? Does it feel a little early for that or no?
You know what? If you're going to start serving pumpkin, no, let's just dive in. If people are putting their Christmas trees up before Thanksgiving, fall can happen in August.
Okay. Can we act like we've used a microphone before and put it up
it's
by
not
our lips?
high enough.
It's like at your chin.
There we go.
Okay, we're joined by a lady that has many skills. She is faster than lightning on her feet. She runs like a crazy lady. She is gifted in playing every instrument, maybe not the kazoo, but every other instrument.
She
can do it
totally
well.
Play the
she
kazoo.
is leading worship this Sunday here in Minnesota at our movie theater. We're excited about having Jenny in the house today. How you doing, Jenny?
Hey, good morning. I'm great. It's a beautiful day.
We're so glad you're here.
So I saw you nodding when I said kazoo stuff. You can play a kazoo.
She can play the kazoo.
Oh, for sure, I can play the kazoo.
That's an easy instrument to play, I suppose.
Isn't that where every musician starts?
No, I started with...
I think so.
Probably, you're right. Until I got to spit in it. And then that little piece of paper that buzzes in there doesn't work anymore.
You just have to replace it.
Oh, yeah. All right, here's one of our new looks. Like, we can put 3 people on the screen.
How cool is
Yeah,
this?
come on, that's great.
We can look around. We can see each other.
Now, for you brand new, you're like, you've never seen it not like this. So welcome. You should subscribe to our YouTube channel. As every week we talk about things that'll make your life better, make you better at life, because we point you to Jesus to figure out life, navigating the challenges of life. We try to look at what did Jesus do and then try to apply them. Today we are in part 3. I don't know if it's part 3. Holly prayed for us before we started, and she's like, for the final...
Yeah, it might not be the final. I
felt like I got one more week in it, but I don't know. But today we're trying to talk about how do you find God's will? How do you know what that is? This is a huge topic. I think we overcomplicate it. We're going to go to Ginny really quick here. Ginny, you have some kids, so can you give us the age range of the children that you are raising currently with your wonderful husband, Zach?
Yeah, we have a 17-year-old who is going to be a senior in high school this year. I know. Woo, watch out, world. She's going to do great things. Yes. We have a 15-year-old who is a sophomore in high school, and then we have a 10-year-old who will be in 5th grade. So we've got the gamut.
Yeah, you got the gamut. So here's the great thing about it. The reason I asked her to give the resume is because this topic of finding God's will is so applicable as first and foremost, just us as followers of Jesus. 2, as parents. 3, how do you help that age bracket navigate this? Because the 17-year-old, we've got one in our house as well, Ginny, trying to help them figure out what is next. But we want to make sure we keep it focused on. Last week, Ginny, online, we said that God's will is about a who, not a do. He's working on you as a human first, and then you with everybody else before the do. But we get so locked in on the do, right? What school am I going to go to? What job am I going to take? All those things. So today, we're going to talk about when God's will is unclear.
You said it earlier. If you struggle on God's moral will, then it's going to struggle on the next, like knowing God's permissive will, knowing God's personal will. Is that the case, like, in understanding God's sovereign will, then moral, like it goes in that order? Or do you think do you know what I'm asking?
Yeah, I don't think it's in an order. It's just kind of the bigness of it. God's sovereign will, God's got a plan. From creation, and Jesus has been a part of that redemption plan. God was not shocked about Adam and Eve eating the apple. He wasn't shocked that we would do what we're doing, and he has a sovereign will that no one can stop. All nature, everything points to, and that really is. Again, you got to go backwards to listen to it again. But it is all about Jesus. It is all about Jesus coming and dying and rising again, going to heaven and returning to gather his people. That's the story. Yeah. The Bible's not wrote about you and me, and we're not in it. The Bible covers this story, the sovereign will of God with Jesus, his son, in it. The great thing about the Bible is it's for us. Mm-hmm. It's not about us. It's for us. And that's the beauty. That's the roadmap a little bit to guide us in this. I think God's permissive will is what God allows, is like trying to understand some of these things. I think it helps us figure out how to pray. Like, what am I praying for, right? Like, that's why I like categories a little bit. I can see Ginny off to the left here nodding her head a little bit, right? It helps me know, what am I praying for? Is this I need to submit my moral will is a little off?
Yeah.
Or is this my personal will? Like, is this I get to choose?
That's good.
The God's permissive will, like, I have nothing to do if there's a tornado that comes today.
Yeah. Well, and I just think of it in some ways that sometimes we have so many conversations with people or hear so often of, God's mad at me. God, these things keep happening. And sometimes it's just like, man, yes, things keep happening. Sometimes it's back from choices that were made because you missed God's moral will. And then you went into a whole nother slope of bad choices because you didn't line up to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so that's why I was just wondering that. So but it is good to like, all of that encompasses.
I think, again, the moms in the room today can probably give a little bit of oomph to this as you are raising your children. But we complicate our own lives by, I miss God's moral will in my life. I lied, I cheated, I teenagers, they didn't show up on time. And instead of admitting the first mistake, yes, I disobeyed you. I was late, I broke curfew. They make another story up. So now they are disobedient, dishonest, right? Now all of a sudden they're stacking the issues.
Yeah.
Instead of admitting the mess, and now it's a deeper hole to get ourselves out of.
Right.
And so therefore, when we're trying to figure out God's will, it's like, well, we got to fix that thing. We got to go mend the relationships with people before we can move on. It's like this. We got to test. Okay, ladies, we're going to test this.
Great.
Icon, come here.
It's not even school yet for us here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So close, though. Way too close.
It is way too close. She's
sneaking
through.
She's sneaking in.
Coming over here.
Okay, she's coming in. We did not test this.
No.
Icon, thank you for doing everything you do today. Icon did not on camera or go over, Dad, what do you need? I'm not ready to be on camera. She just came. She was obedient, and now she finds out why I asked her to come for an illustration today. That's it. You're just being an illustration of obedience of like, the last thing she knew I asked her to do as Dad is, hey, come. A lot of times when God directs us, we sit over on the other side and go, why? Yeah. What do you need me to do? How far? How long? How much is it going to cost? What's it going to take? Yeah. No, you don't. Thank you. You can go back to that.
That was a good response.
We have to be obedient to get the guidance from God. He's waiting for that act of obedience. The last thing that you know that you weren't obedient, He's waiting there still. When you're praying about the new job situation, He's like, but hold on. We got to revisit the last job. You quit that, and you never even prayed about it. You just you thought you were just going to work that job for a year. I need you to do that for 3 years for other people to be pouring into you, to teach you, whatever those things are, right? It's obedience first to God. Then you find out the next step. But what we oftentimes want to be, God, just show me the whole thing. I want the whole map.
Well, and the other thing to add on to that is I don't think in our culture that we are willing to be quiet and still enough to listen for a response. And when I say listen for a response, I mean like that gentle nudge in your mind, in your soul, where you just kind of know which direction you should go. Right. I am so guilty of that. I don't sit long enough in quiet and listen.
Well, and I think sometimes that stillness comes, that little nudge does come, and we think, no, that's not what it is. Nope, that's not what I wanted to hear. So let me see if I can keep pushing for something different. You know, how often are our kids like that? Like, well, I'll just go ask Dad because he might give me a different answer, or vice versa.
Or I'm going to keep asking until they give me the answer that I want.
Yeah, wear them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do that as adults as I chomp my ice on a microphone.
Thank you. That's okay. I coughed earlier.
I think that as adults, we laugh and chuckle at our kids. They do the things to us, but we are guilty of doing to God.
It's very, very
But
similar.
we justify it in the way we do it. Of like, our wants are bigger and cost more than a pair of pants or whatever it is like that. In our house, the kids want the new XL one wheel. And so that's what they want. And they're all trying to figure out how they can do things to get it. And it's great. And it's like, well,
it is. I just laugh.
I chuckle at it. I mean, I think on this topic, the only difference between us and a 17-year-old, and when I say us, is us, they're sitting in this sphere of, as parents, as adults. The only difference is we hide some of the irrational thoughts inside our head. We don't say them out loud, whereas the 17-year-old hasn't figured that out yet.
Filter yet.
And which drives us as parents bonkers, because like, that is so irrational.
You think that's how it works.
Yeah, but we thought those things. Like
sure.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to use Paul and his life of how God used situations and things to move him through uncertain times. But before we do that, Jenny, I got a question. Who's your go-to if you're like, I just love the way they are portrayed throughout Scripture? Who's the one individual that you really enjoy reading, studying about? It can be Paul. It cannot be Jesus. I'm just going to take that one out. That's obvious.
Yeah, you took my answer. No, I love learning about Esther.
Yes.
I think she's just fabulous. A great woman of faith, but just how she stepped out of her comfort zone and did what was asked of her.
But in uncertainty.
Yeah,
right? Remember, she like it's like
I
don't want to give it away, but like it's in the Bible and been around for thousands.
Go read
of years.
about Esther. That's my encouragement. Go read Esther.
Talk about, and it's a real short book.
Yeah,
but it's packed with so much where she's going, "Ooh, I don't know if that's God's will." And I think the line that I love the best in there that I always quote is, "For such a time as this."
Absolutely. Well, and they say that even if she doesn't go and talk to the king, which could potentially result in her death, like someone else is going to rise up. Yeah. And she was created for such a time as this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's even in there, again, as you're saying, even that, it's like there's this personal will, but she has to choose to walk through it, right? But God's sovereign will is still going to play out like, hey, if you're not going to do it, someone else will be taking that spot, not in that day, but it could be weeks from there or whatever. But God's sovereign will is still going to play out. He just gives us an opportunity to be part of that when we are obedient in his moral, permissive, and personal will. Okay, that's so I love Esther as well. There's really very few. I don't think there's anybody you could pick through the Bible unless it was like some obscure villain of some story. Why would you like Goliath? Like
King Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah. Like
I was just thinking that one.
Yeah, like for whatever reason, anytime I hear King Nebuchadnezzar, I think of VeggieTales.
I know you.
Every time
you've said that before.
It's burned in my mind. The chocolate bunny that was built as a statue.
Yeah.
Thank you. It has ruined my brain forever. But we're going to look at Paul today. I want to give you Paul's resume really quick. Just sometimes we don't do this about the authors of the Bible, and sometimes we do. Today, it just felt like, hey, we haven't really talked about Paul fully. So we're going to buzz by his resume. And why would we look at his life? Because it's so important. Because I think sometimes we write off Paul as like, that guy just had it all together. And he knew what God wanted him to do all the time. So Paul, if you're brand new around here, author Paul, he started out by persecuting Christians. He would hunt them down, kill them. He was given rights to just kill Christians. Wild story. It's covered in the book of Acts, what he would do. He was there sometimes to make sure the individual was stoned to death. He was just like, yep, dead, and moved on to the next city, hunting down. He's a bounty hunter for Christians. Well, he had an encounter with the risen Jesus, and why we say risen Jesus is why, Holly. Why would we say he had an encounter with risen Jesus?
Because this was after Jesus was put on the cross and he rose from the dead.
Okay, so his encounter
after he didn't live.
He never met Jesus face to face. His encounter is on the other side of the death, resurrection, and Jesus going to heaven, which is our encounter. Now, if we had time, the three of us have different encounters in that first time where we gave our lives to Christ. Very, very different. Paul's is different in how, but it came on the other side of Jesus' death, resurrection. And Paul had an encounter with him knowing some information about who Jesus is, and then had this moment of like his heart's racing, his stomach turning, and he gave his life to Christ. A total spin, 180, and started going the other direction. Wonderful. Then he starts preaching the gospel. He performed miracles. He raised people from the dead. I think... I can't remember if it's Paul or Peter, maybe, but I think one of them walks in their shadow, goes over. You know the story? One of the Peter or Paul. Google it, Hal. Other computer. She's got too many devices up here. You Google it so we can put it up there. Which disciple's shadow healed someone? Okay. I can't remember. I think they were just walking in the book of Acts, and they were just healed because of the shadow. That's how connected they were. It's a wild story. Paul encountered angels as he preached across the Roman Empire. That means he saw them face to face. That'd be pretty wild. He started the church across Asia Minor, a church planner, a lot of different provinces there. And then he wrote 13 of the 27 New Testament books. That's the quick 10,000-foot overview of who Paul is. Did you get the answer yet?
Yeah, it's Peter.
I knew it started with a P.
Yeah, you're right. Let me find where it's at.
Okay, she'll get this. So, Paul traveling through, let's do this as well. You're going to have to move quick. What is it? Did you get it?
Yeah, Acts 5:16.
Okay, let's throw it on the screen really quick so you get the proof. We like to put proof to what we're saying.
This isn't.
Oh, you picked the wrong one? Tormented by the impure spirit? Nah, that's so wrong. Get it out of here. We got to move on.
Google's not helping me.
Okay. And Jenny doesn't have any technology over there, so she cannot help you either.
I'm trying to find what story it's at. So give me.
Okay, what I need next is the roadmap of Paul. Do you have that in the back of your Bible? Ooh, look at Jenny's got this. This would be impressive if she gets this through the road.
Now you need the roadmap.
Yeah, the map.
So I literally saw it this morning as I was looking through your notes.
Okay, because here's what you need to see. As Paul travels, and we're talking about ancient times traveling. Did you find it? She's pointing out. Okay, what is it? Put it on the screen.
It's Acts 5:15.
Here we go.
And it says, as a result, people brought the sick into the streets and laid them on beds and mats so that at least Peter's shadow might fall on some of them as he passed by.
Boom. Okay. Wild. To be that close to God in that tap and would be wild. Okay, so why I want a roadmap really quick is because as we're talking about God's will, how did Paul know where to go and when not to go and how long to stay and all those different things? Because he's moving around and he's spreading the gospel in an ancient world that takes forever to travel. We're not talking that it takes you a few seconds, you hop on a plane or a car or train. You're talking about you're walking, you're riding a donkey. If you're lucky enough, you got a horse. It's just complicated. And so he makes all of these journeys across Asia Minor, but how did he know when to stay, when to go? So you being able to see a map of his traveling is wild. Now, Jenny is so, she might have just found it. Is that it? Okay, put it up on your right in front of your screen.
All the way around.
I know, heavy Bible. Look at this. Okay, that's great.
On them.
Okay, now Holly has it as well. Jenny wins because she got there. Holly's Holly's up on the screen really quick. There it is. That's what you just looked at. Look at all of the different ways. I mean, he traveled everywhere.
First journey, second journey to Rome.
You can read, and these are all attached through scriptures, so you can follow the stories of why is he in the middle of the island there, and some of that is shipwrecked, and obviously modern day Italy and Turkey he's visiting. And so it's wild to read these stories of his journey. The reason we want that map up there is that's a snapshot of his life in multiple decisions. So how did Paul know what to do, where to go, and what to write as he wrote 13 of the 27 New Testaments? So it's obviously we cannot argue too long about Paul had some big decisions in life and how did he get there. So God led, this is what I wrote, God led Paul in ordinary moments, in ordinary ways, in 4 different ways. I'll read that one more time to you. God led Paul in ordinary moments, in ordinary ways, in 4 different directions. So as we're looking through the way God directed Paul, in these ordinary moments, what are they? So we can learn. It was these open doors, closed doors, frustrated plans, and everyday choices. And when I wrote out frustrated plans, Jenny, I felt like that's probably where most people are like, that's where I live.
Oh, for sure. And I think of a lot of conversations I have with people just in general, and that's what it comes down to, frustrated. Or they think a door is open, and then they're like, but why am I bumping up against all of this stuff, maybe it's not an open door.
Open door, yes. And here's the beautiful thing. We know this because we've all been there. Okay, this is not... We've arrived and have not had to have these conversations. Holly was talking about Race for the Rail. Did you ever find that Instagram post?
I can't log in on this.
Oh, my goodness. What a failed opportunity.
I needed a code and I don't have that
I got you.
So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fail on all kinds of levels. But our camera shots are on point today. Rock star status. Okay, when we were talking about Race for the Rail... this is what even led us into this topic of finding God's will, because we've had plans since we made a budget for 2025. We're going to California for Race to the Rail. Let's go. And so we started budgeting for it, planning the calendar, taking time off, all these different things, making sure we had somebody to teach. And then all of a sudden, we got frustrated plans. It wasn't as easy all of a sudden. And then we started asking, well, is this opposition? Or is this God trying to say, I got a different plan? And so we were trying to figure it all out. And as we were trying to pray through it, figure it out, we're like, let's start teaching on this, because this is such an easy topic for us to share. There's not much emotions to it. There's not death or loss involved in this. So it's easy to use an illustration. We've said repeatedly to everybody, on a scale of uncertainty, this is maybe a 1, right? There's 1 through 10. This is so little, but it makes it easy to share, to walk through, because we were like, this is God's plan, budget for it, plan for it. And then all of a sudden, we didn't end up going. And it was a lot of these things it was at the beginning of the year an open door. It did turn into a closed door after walking through some frustrations, and we had to make the choice. No angel showed up. So let's jump into 1 Corinthians 16, verse 8 through 9. This is where Paul begins to write about his journeys, okay? So we're going to hop into the middle of a story, which is always dangerous, but I got to understand, for time's sake, this is how it's going to go. You can write it down and read your whole story. Here we go. 1 Corinthians 16, 8 through 9. Let's throw up on the screen for all of you. This is what Paul writes. I will stay at Ephesus until Pentecost, because a great door of effective work has opened to me, and there are many who oppose me. Okay, there's so much that was just said right there. I love this screen. Can we go back, just back to the beginning of that historic really quick on the scripture? Look at that. We can have it up there, all three of us. This
Love
is
it.
wonderful.
So
Modern
cool.
technology,
That's
everybody.
awesome.
So cool.
Okay, Paul, I will stay at Ephesus until Pentecost. So obviously, it gives us the time of year he is. He's saying, hey, to this point, this is my plan. I'm going to stay here because why? A great door of effective work has opened to me. What do we learn there, Holly, when he's saying that because of a great door of effective work has opened? What do you think he's saying there?
Well, just that he has an opportunity. There's something there that an open door he can walk through and be effective for the Lord.
Okay. It seems easy.
Right?
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, I agree. Like,
Love it when
right,
I'm
Ginny?
right.
It seems like he's saying, this seems like a no-brainer.
Like
it's easy.
Oh, for sure. It seems like it's just been laid out right before him. Like, of course I need to stay here because there's something here for me.
And remember, God's will is about a who, not a do.
Yeah.
And so he's saying an effective work for open to me, a great door, because he's a guy that does ministry. He's not talking about selling tents here. Now, at some point, he does sell tents in his life, but I'm trying to say he's not going, I can make a great profit selling tents to these people. We keep reading in 1 Corinthians, and we realize he's there preaching the gospel. Mm-hmm. He's preaching the gospel. But here's one thing you got to point out. He did not say an angel came to me. I had a vision last night, a dream that I should stay because of what's going to happen. No angel texting him, telling him to do what he's doing. Just a wide open door. A clear ministry opportunity. And he changes his entire schedule. Sometimes that's just for a lot of us. We got to look for those opportunities. Where can we have the most impact in lives, changing lives? And stay there. Like, we're trying to get on to the next thing. God's like, I just need you to stay right there. Be effective in what you're doing. We have no context as this is a great place where Paul's living. If the situation that he lives in is ideal, he's just saying the great door's open. I'm staying put. But he also says at the end of this, there are many who oppose me. Which some would say, well, then he should hit the road. Opposition, right? You were speaking about that earlier.
Yeah, opposition, but Paul knows that he's going to be opposed wherever he is. I mean, he was no stranger to challenge in his ministry. And so I think he didn't see that as a threat or as something to be concerned about. I think he just knew he was in the right place at the right time doing a great work.
Right. Yeah. I think what I wrote it like this is, one, I think we all understand where Paul's sitting because we've all been there.
Yeah.
Some of us are so Debbie Downer that we say it's too good to be true. It's too easy. There's got to be a catch. The floor is gonna fall out from underneath me because we're always in self-preservation mode. I mean, that's one thing about humans. That's the same thing for all of us. Just some of us have grown up a little bit and can push those thoughts and feelings down about self-preservation. Naturally, your mind goes into, how's this going to work out good for me? Am I going to be safe in the journey physically, mentally? And so we think and default that way. But when we come into trusting God, every open door doesn't mean it'll be easy. Sometimes it doesn't mean we won't be hurt emotionally. I mean, Holly and I have been in ministry for 25 years now, and it's been great. But a lot of our greatest pain is inside working for the church. Doesn't mean I hit the road. Doesn't mean I quit. It's just when there is a great opportunity, there's also great opposition. But you guys know what Paul's talking about. You, the other day, maybe some of you got a job offer out of the blue. You're like, I was looking for it, I've been praying for it, and all of a sudden somebody came to me and said, hey, we want you to take this position, and it's double the pay. And you're going, too good to be true, I'm not going to take it as a catch. And God's like, it's an open door. Like, go through it. And you just won't. You're just, or maybe you've been like, I need to get involved in church. And now I'm saying that, and that's, wait, did he hear my prayers? Like, I get this all the time, Jenny and Holly, that somebody goes, what you spoke on today, it's like you were at my dinner conversation. It's like, I'm not. That's God speaking on Sunday that you should do whatever you're feeling. Somebody's, I need to volunteer in kids ministry, babies, students. I need to get involved. And you've been waiting for some sign. And this is it. Like somebody today is talking about that. That's God now confirming to you, here's an open door of ministry opportunity to step in, to pour into the next generation. It's not random. What Paul's talking about, it is not by chance it's happening. He's saying this is a God door. A door God opened. It's a God-given opportunity, and I'm walking through it. But just because it's a great opportunity does not mean it'll be easy. What did he say? Many who oppose me. And there are many who oppose me. An open door doesn't guarantee a smooth path. Now, we live here, obviously, as pastors and worship leader here. I don't know, Ginny, a personal question for you. On Sunday mornings that you lead, just go back through the repertoire in your life. Mm-hmm. Do you sometimes notice, have you ever taken inventory on those Sundays and go, you know, it seems a little bit more stressful in my home. If I don't do these things, we tend to fight a little bit more. Unexpected things are happening, so you're more distracted. Have you ever noticed that?
Oh, 100%. Well, I shouldn't say 100% because I'm not usually there on Sunday mornings when I lead worship. I'm up before the rest of my family.
So you're strategically
But I hear it from Zach. I hear how stressful the morning was or how hard it was to get the kids up and out the door or just arguing with him. What I notice as a worship leader, sometimes our Sunday morning rehearsals are more challenging or we have technical difficulty or it takes longer for us to do setup or like the vibe in our practice feels off. And quite honestly, we know that those are going to be the Sundays when God shows up and shows off in big ways. But we experience that on both ends.
Yeah. And I asked that question because we've lived it. Holly and I lived it. Well, I wrote in my notes, this season of summer camps, mission trips, Christmas, Easter, those are those big moments at Unlock Church that we're going to do the mission of Jesus, which is spread the gospel, okay? And it's always met with opposition. Like pipes breaking in the middle of nowhere right on camp one year. There's some kind of confrontation with people right around camp. And we now know to prepare for it. Early on, you're just like blindsided. Oh, maybe we're not in God's will anymore. Maybe we're doing something we shouldn't be doing. And this is God trying to to steer us away from it. That's where we tend to go to instead of going, oh, yeah, where there's great opportunity for spiritual impact. The enemy doesn't want that to happen.
Opposition, yeah.
Opposition. When the worship team, Brian and Ginny and the team have a great set of songs and God's like, I'm going to show up in somebody's life there. The enemy doesn't want that to happen. So what's he going to do? Frustrate us in the setup. And we see it all the time. Some weeks it goes super smooth and we're like, wow, we're done so early.
Right.
Actually, those are the Sundays that just scare me. It's like, oh no, God has. We're going to miss God here or something. But it's like when there is it's like that's where I go around, Ginny. Don't tell anybody on Sundays, but I go around and cut an extension cord to create some friction.
Thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I break a cord real quick, so
that stays online.
Yeah. No one tell anybody. It's just between us and the cameras. But if you're not careful, you do go the other way. Oh, it's too easy. And so is God going to show up? Is it going to be? It just, you can understand when there's opposition that when silly things that are just not normal are happening, there's opposition. And this is what Paul's saying. I'm going to stay in the open door. I'm going to walk through it. I'm going to do a ministry. But there are people that are wanting to kill me, arrest me. And he's fighting through those. So whatever you're doing in your life and you feel like I'm in God's will, but there's opposition, don't give up. The devil's not going to... I wrote it like this. I go, a warning. When God opens the door, expect the spiritual enemy to push back. The bigger the opportunity, the greater opposition. And this is where a lot of us get it mixed up. Some of you might be there right now. God opened the door. You say, this must be God's will. And then you walk through the door, and it's not easy. There's opposition. Someone's not being nice to you at work. You hit an obstacle. You try to get something done, and everything seems to go wrong. You walk through the door, and then all of a sudden, you get problems everywhere. And so you think, well, this must not be God. But it's the devil. He doesn't waste his time fighting those who aren't a threat. So if you don't have a moment in your life where you're like, I know that's the enemy in my life messing with me, you better look to see, are you even a threat on his scale? Because you call yourself a follower of Jesus and you aren't doing anything with your life outside of consuming something for personal, you're missing it. Remember, God's will, all four categories, is about a who, not a do. So we first work on ourselves becoming more like Christ. That's step one. And then the next part is, what are we going to do for other people? How are we going to serve other people? I love those that sit at these tables over the years. They're serving other people. They're not highly educated people. They are, but they didn't stop there. They have been discipled as followers of Jesus and then turned around and they serve at a great capacity. Ginny and her family, Zach and her, they don't just do worship. Zach helps tear down. I know when Zach's not there, Ginny, because he's got to travel for work, because the lights aren't coming down. I know when Zach's there, the lights are coming down.
For sure. He's kind of taken that on as his role.
He knows it. Yeah. And when that's done, he knows it's clockwork. It's wonderful. When he's, because he serves, he's figured it out. He's looked for an opportunity. He's got it. He's serving. So he doesn't just tear down lights. You lead worship almost every Sunday.
Yep.
And sometimes you're the main leader, like this Sunday. Right. Sometimes you're backup, but she serves. Then they open their home for small groups. Yeah. It isn't one act. It's multiple times to serve other people.
For sure. Right. And with that, talking about God's will, hosting small groups was a step of obedience for us. You both approached us and were like, hey, would you be willing to do this? And we prayed about it and we're like, yes, that's the next step for us, is to open up our home, have members of our community come in and start to do life together. And it's been amazing. So amazing that we want to do it again.
Yeah,
so
that's a win.
That's my plug for small groups.
Yeah, look at that. She's champion for small groups, which
she is.
We do have them starting back up in October. We're really excited about it. If you're one of those really academical, did I make that word up? Is that a real word?
I think that's
I just made it up. I made it up. I like it.
I think academical is made up.
If you love to read, you can cheat a little bit and get the book, The Wild Goose Chase. It's an older book, but it's a wonderful book. All small groups are going to be doing that.
Who is the author?
It is, now you're asking me in the middle of this.
I got
the
it.
author he's a church planner. Yeah, Mark Batterson.
Mark Batterson.
Yeah, he's got a couple good books that are just, that's one. In a Pit on a Snowy Day, another great one. But okay, you would think that we get some royalties pushing these books. But that'll kick off in October. Excited about it. If you want to read ahead, you can. But I use this illustration of this year of her family running small groups has been met with some oppositions at times. Calendar, right? I got to guess, right?
Oh my gosh. With 3 kids, I mean, just hockey season alone was crazy for us. So making sure that we picked a date that we could set aside and say, this is going to be small group night. It doesn't matter which kid has a choir concert or band concert, which kid has hockey practice. We will figure it out. And so did the rest of our small group members. They were really able to commit to it. Not that they didn't have other demands on their time or opposition, but it was something that they made a priority.
I'm going to stay there on small groups really quick because, yes, you opened up your home. You said yes to that. And it was, you're looking back in a year, and it was wonderful. God's blessed your life. I hate using the word blessed because it seems so cheap, but God's just done good things. Mm-hmm. But there's also been oppositions along the way of opening up your home, and we just got to hear a little bit of that. But same with the people that attend it. You know you should be going to a small group, but there's opposition. Oh, my schedule.
It's hard to rearrange things.
You've got to, God doesn't open doors and then give every step along the way and go, I'll just figure it out for you now. No, even parents, I didn't tell Icon, I didn't reassure her in obedience. Hey, Icon, can you come here earlier in the episode, right? I just asked her to come, and she came. Some of you know you're supposed to be doing a small group, and you didn't change your calendar over this last year, and you missed out on what God wanted you to do. Don't miss it again. You have got to figure out to make the adjustments for that to work because it's important. It matters. This is how we become in that God's moral will, how we learn what God's morality is, and we can ask questions. So some of you have been disobedient in not attending a small group. That's a free one. That's not in my notes. Just felt like, and I need to make sure I say that on Sunday because I just feel that that's some of the issue is that we got a lot of people that know they need to do small group. The door's open because we've presented 3 opportunities here locally and a 4th one online, and there's been a lot that didn't show.
And I think it's easy for the enemy to use that to plug little things that seem more important.
Yeah.
That need our attention, that we're like, oh, well, I can just miss this one time, and then I'll go next time.
Right. And it's just... Okay, there's our plug. It starts in October. We'll give it a starting date. Okay, so God opens doors. God closes doors. Now, here's where it gets frustrating. We love open doors because let's just run through them. Closed doors, we now usually spend a lot of time trying to kick down the door, especially when it's something we've turned into I want, but now I need. Did you know this, Jenny and Holly, that the brain will give no resources mentally to something you want? There's 0 resources that go to that. So pay attention. Like there's a parent hack for all of us and those at home. When your kid comes and says, I want a pair of jeans, or I want new shoes, or I want the new cell phone, they have not really spent much time thinking about it. They're just telling you the wants. But the minute it switches from I want to a need, pay attention because the brain now will allocate a great deal of time to what I need because we've now convinced ourselves what I need is for my survival. So when a child turns around, I need the pants so that I fit in. I need the phone so I can keep up. Now our brain creatively gives information. How can we get that? Because it's about our survival. And so even as adults, pay attention to that. It moves from a want to a need. You're in trouble.
I mean, as adults, those things are just usually a little bit of a bigger cost. Or, I mean, I think like if a car, you know what I mean? Like when you think like, oh, can I pay cash for a car? Like I'm deciding to get a car or whatever. I don't really need a car, but ours has been in the shop a few times. So maybe I do need a new van. You know what I mean? Like you just start thinking like, okay, yeah. Well, I think as adults, we do that a lot with lots of different things. They just are a bigger price tag.
Yeah. So it's easy to look at I need a new pair of pants from a teenager going, no, you don't. I've seen your closet. Where?
When their clothes don't fit in their dressers anymore. It's like, you
don't really need.
You might need to weed some stuff out.
Yes, yeah. And another parent hack. Epic, he's grown up a little bit since last year, a little bit taller, and he put on a pair of sweatpants that he used to run around the house with last year.
No idea you're telling this story.
And they were high.
Oh, I was like, oh man. He's like a foot tall.
Yeah, I was like,
so
bro,
short.
I got a hack for you. It's trendy now for
shorter pants,
knickers, high waters. There's a better term for that. But we saw JJ, a Viking player, wearing like their knickers. You know what knickers are? They go past your knees, like mid calf area. I was like, Epic, let's just cut the sweats to come at mid calf. It'll look like you bought them and they're super trendy. So we turned something old into new. He looks like a rock star all of a sudden.
He looks great.
Looked like a total nerd earlier because they were just too short. You cut it and it looked like he went down and bought them.
It was the wrong length for what was trending, and now you fixed it.
Yeah, we
win-win.
A little bit of scissors, and he was walking around. He's like, "I like this. I can't wait to wear these on Wednesday night."
Yeah.
And so, just a little parent hack. A couple things there. But again, pay attention when a child moves from "I want" to "I need." They're now giving brain space to it, and they're going to figure out how to get it. And so that's where we got to go. Hold on, backing up, going, hey, is that a closed door? Don't turn it into I want, into a need, and then kick down the door. Because if you, again, using the pant illustration, sometimes kids that aren't in God's moral will take it upon themselves to steal. That would be a version of kicking down the door, extreme version. I don't see any of our kids doing that, or I'm just being extreme in what I'm saying. Is that we then take all necessary means to get what we think we need. And sometimes that's us kicking a closed door down. So we're going to look at Paul, again, in Acts chapter 16, verse 6. Jumping into the story, we're going to put the verse on the screen for you. Next, Paul and Silas traveled through the area of, I have no idea how to say that word. Papyrus is not right. Anyways, you can see those regions because the Holy Spirit had prevented them from preaching the word in the province of Asia at that time. The Acts of the Apostles is sometimes what you might hear Acts called right there. So you hear that the Holy Spirit prevented them from preaching the word. It was a good thing they were doing. They were not morally doing something wrong.
That's wild. Like, why would their pathway forward be prevented?
And that's where we get frustrated, I think. And that's a great question because we all we'll take again something so little. Why would God prevent us from going to a race for the rail? Because we always go out there and preach the gospel. I mean, it is undoubtedly we go out there in a light in the darkness. We have been able to pray with people that have been suicidal. We've been able to pray with people that have lost babies. We've just been able to be a light in the darkness always. So we're going to go do good things, but we didn't go. And so the question you just asked is applicable. Why? Why did God close the door? Now, I don't know. That's where somebody's like, yes, answer this because this will solve my problem, right?
I don't really know why the door got closed, but I also remember wrestling with the Lord a little bit like, hey, we're trying to do good work. We're trying to reach those people. We're trying to love on this community. So why is this being prevented? And there's at some time was just it's not about you.
Yeah.
I can still do things with, and so, and sometimes I think, I don't think it was like, Holly, I don't need you. It wasn't like that. It was just like, that sovereign will of God, it's still he's still got a plan. And so I can either grumble and complain that, oh, this door got closed and we can't go do what we felt like we were called to do or something. And it was a good thing and it gets slammed in our face. Or I can say, all right, God, I see there's a bigger picture that I can't see all of it. And I am not, you always say it this way. We are just part of the story. We are not the story. Right. And that was really good to remember in this, that it's just not always about us.
And there were people that are not a part of like our church community, One Wheel community. They wanted us there, and they were like, "Hey, we'll give you resources to fix your car and all these things." And it was like, it got really cloudy really fast because it's like, okay, hold on. Is that God telling now it's an open door kind of deal? Because our car, it was $4,000 to fix our car. We budgeted a trip. Anyone that's a good budgeter goes, well, we've just lost $4,000 to fix a car that was not budgeted for of that magnitude. So now what? And so people are like, hey, we really want you to come out. And so here you go. Your kids have got a race. And it's so cool to hear people say it. But it's like, what does God want us to do?
Yeah.
And it felt like God was closing the door. And Jenny, I think you asking, what does this mean? Why would the Holy Spirit? I have no idea. I wrote in my notes, what does this mean in bold letters? Did you like how I color code my notes and all that stuff?
I love it. I do the same thing.
Okay. Somebody says that just adds so much more time to what you're doing. But I ponder while I'm doing it of the thought.
It highlights the important
correct
thoughts that you don't want to miss in the conversation.
And then you get, it's great. Jenny's never seen my notes before. She's going to hear this version on Sunday. She's going to get to see, is he really ADD or does he plan it and you can see it in the notes? There's a pocket for that to happen. We'll ask later, Jenny.
And then come Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever happens.
But I just was thinking, what is it? These boys could have had a headache that prevented them from going, a belly ache. You have no idea, but something has prevented them from going. They could be attributing the headache to this is God saying no. Because then we continue in that story after we read in Acts chapter 16, verse 6, go to verse 7. Then coming to the border of they headed north to the province of another place. We have the scripture. We can put it up there. But again, the Spirit of Jesus did not allow them to go there. So this is 2 times doors closed. Again, these boys weren't being rebellious. They weren't out of God's plan morally. They were trying to preach the gospel. They had good motives, but the Holy Spirit just said, no, it's not for you to do it. God, here we've got to hear this. God's no is still a direction. We don't like no's. You didn't like it when you were 2, and you don't like it when you're 47. But God's no is still a direction. I remember, let me give you some practical stories here. A lot of people know the story where Holly's parents said, no, I couldn't marry Holly.
Oh, this story again?
Yeah, you got it. It's a good one. It's just applicable. Because I don't know many people where the guy went and asked permission to marry the daughter, and they said no 4 times. But I got to know. I could have been rebellious and said, I'm just going to take Holly and go. Forget it. Like, right? And Holly at one point was like, let's just get married. And it was like, ooh. And I was like, no, we cannot do that. It was temptation to do it, but I had to keep going back to the category. Morally, God's moral will, is it okay to rebel against authority? And I can appear rebellious, but I try to submit under authority as much as I can because it's easy not to. That's hard. And so when her parents said no, I took that as a no, I cannot marry Holly. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I was going to marry her. So I didn't hit the road. I didn't go anywhere. It just made me kind of, you know how, like, Jenny, you're on the beach. You were just on the beach. You know, like in the sand, and you can move your feet back and forth and dig them in.
Yeah.
When somebody tells me no, and I know I just dig my feet in. It's like, okay, we're going to play this one out.
Yeah.
See how long you can stand or I can stand, as long as my confidence comes from it. So I just dig my feet into the sand. And I asked 3 more times over the next, 6 months kind of deal. But their no was a closed door. We had plans. We were talking about get married in December, winter wedding. Holly's like, I want to marry you. I don't want to, but I would do it if they say yes, kind of deal. But God's no is still a direction. We didn't kick down the door and go get married. Because some people hear our story and they go, oh, I'd have just taken her and gotten married. But I would have been sowing so much of wrong things into our marriage. The foundation of marriage would be built on rebellion, instead of relying on the Lord to change the heart of her parents. So, I wrote it like this. I know that sometimes I can be dumb and stubborn and hard-headed. And I know sometimes I want so much, I tend to project on God. I think my desires must be His will. But what I want is not always God's will. Sometimes my motives are really pure, but sometimes my flesh is just like, it must be God's will that I take Holly away from her family right now and marry her, or I get that car, even though my car is fine. It breaks down once in a while, but it's fine. We project, and this is where it's dangerous to say, God told me so. You better execute on God told you so then. Whatever it is. This is how, when God says, don't use my name, Lord's name in vain, I think in Western culture, we project that as using a swear word. And I think that's not kind to use the Lord's name with the last name of a swear word. I don't think that's appropriate, but I don't think that's taking the Lord's name in vain. I don't care if somebody used my name like that. But when somebody says, Dad said so in the house, and I didn't say so, they're just leveraging my authority to get something done. That's taking my name in vain. When we say God's will, I feel God spoke this in my life, and you're not 100% sure, that's taking the Lord's name in vain when he didn't say so. That's a hard one to swallow. So, we have open doors, closed doors, and then we have frustrating doors. But let me ask this question, Holly. When you've experienced no's in your life, what are your feelings?
Sometimes, you just, cash it in. Okay, then I'm going to, if I get a no, then I'm going to sell anything that has to do with that. You know what I mean? Then I don't want any of it. You know what I mean? Kind of like a little bit of a fit. Or it could have been, in that situation with you and I, you could have just said, well, fine, then we're done. Your parents aren't letting me marry you, then this relationship is over. You know what I mean? And it could have been that, which wouldn't necessarily have been what God was saying either. We just tend to kind of fill in the blanks and, well, if I can't have that, then I don't want anything.
Jenny, you are a loving parent. You and Zach, you can tell, love your kids. You being a loving parent, have you always said yes to all of your children?
Oh, gosh, no. Oh, my goodness.
Why not? If you would have said yes to everything, you can choose one of the three of your children. If you would have said yes to one of them, what would some of the extreme funny things would have, can you think of any of those? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know what would have transpired if we would have said yes to everything, but we hear examples from our kids about how other parents are saying yes to things that Zach and I are saying no or not yet. And it definitely causes a lot of friction in our house because of that. But there are just some things that Zach and I are like, no, that's not an option in our house, or no, not yet.
Right. Because
X, Y, and Z needs to happen. As a parent, we have their best interests in mind. We have a bigger picture in our minds. We've got a little bit of life experience.
Yeah, wisdom. It goes,
well, we hope we have wisdom. But if we said yes to our kids for everything, it just wouldn't be to their benefit.
Yeah. The other day, we classify and categorize our kids as the 4 bigs and the 4 littles, even though they are all getting older. The 4 littles, they're 4 boys. They wanted to have some kind of swing rope from the top of our hill here to our lake. Now, you've been on the property.
Yes.
You're here, and some of you have been. There is no way on this green earth that 4 little boys could bring anything to get them to the lake. And he was like, Dad, can we make a swing that would get us there? And I just declined it. I said, no way. They're like, what? It'd be awesome. I go, it'd be awesome if you could get there. But whatever you're going to attempt, you're probably going to break an arm, and I don't have time to go to the hospital. So it was a no. If I would have said yes, they would have built some rickety thing that they would have swung in some direction and never made it. You would have to have Zach would have to come out here in his engineer brain, and then he'd have to bring in some heavy machinery to build some scaffolding to get a swing that direction.
Perhaps.
Right? It's like, then the kids were, how about a slingshot? And they're just going down, how can we? They wanted to come from the top of the hill to the lake. Maybe one day they'll figure it out.
A slingshot for them?
Yeah. And I was like, no. I remember Historic. Historic had a foam football or something, and she came and goes, Dad, do you think this will fit in my nose? No, don't put it in your nose. So then, you know what happens later in the day? Dad, I have foam stuck in my nose. Well, how'd it get there? I'm not sure, was her reply. And I'm like, were you trying to get the football to fit in your nose? Yes, one foam piece at a time. And she got it so far up there that she couldn't get it out. And so we're like, okay. And she was young enough that, you know how that age bracket Ginny is, like where they don't know how to blow out their nose?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where she was. She couldn't figure out how to blow out her nose. Holly's got little tweezers trying to get up in there and get it. Eventually, she's starting to have a nosebleed because it's going up so far. There was moments of like, are we going to have to go to the emergency room? What kind of parents are we? Hey.
Well, we were getting ready to. I was getting ready to try to take
I was like, you got to get it out of there because they're going to have to. I'm a bit dramatic in these. They're not very much. They're not an emergency. She's not actually physically in danger. She's just uncomfortable. So I'm like, historic. They're gonna have to chop your whole nose off. Pull it out. Yeah, and so then she really got after getting it out, and which she did. She got it out, and to this day has never stuck a foam football. She's never even come back. Dad, do you think this object will fit in my nose? Because she knows that the no was a closed door for her safety and her health.
Funny.
I use all these illustrations. Don't get upset at God when he closes doors. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those closed doors are the roadmap to become the man and woman that you want to be.
And we just don't, that's where that sovereign will of God, like we just don't know what protection, we don't know why a trip cross country wasn't the right timing and the right play for us at that moment. But it's like, I guess I don't need all the answers, and that's okay. Maybe it was a protection of something. Maybe it was just wiser. Maybe whatever it may be. It's like, all right, Lord, I'll surrender to what your sovereign will is, because there's so much out of our control in this that it was like, I'm okay, and I can be at peace with that.
Yeah, let's be honest. God's no's or his closed doors are frustrating and confusing. Mm-hmm. But God's no's can lead us, or they have led us to where we are today. Mm-hmm. We didn't go to the race to the rail. We're here today. Who knows what would have happened had we gone? I'm not saying some bad thing, but we're still here today. Holly's parents saying no developed a strong foundation of me being under authority. As much as my skin wanted to, after the second no, the third no, I wanted to just grab Holly and go. Man, what kind of life would we had if we started out our marriage where we rebelled against her parents? It would be night and day difference. Will you bring me that Bible that's in the windowsill? Because of my submission, because it's God's moral will to submit under authority, Holly's dad, again, I could have been angry at him. Holly's dad gave me this Bible that at the time, it was awesome. He loves the Amplified Bible. And he sent this to me as a gift saying, hey.
You didn't have one.
I didn't have an Amplified Bible. So he sent this to me, which I like the Amplified, but it's not something to preach from because it's really wordy. Too many words. Great to study from. But he wrote this, a little quick thing there. You can see in Bibles, they always have one of those. Here he goes. My friend Scott, who is like a son to me, by Collins, I pray God's continued blessing as you minister unto the King. February 25th, 2023. This was just 2 years before he passed. It's almost to the date, 2 years before he did. But to hear my friend Scott, who is like a son to me, that sentence would have never been wrote in here had I taken Holly and just said, let's go. I want you. I know God's told me I'm going to marry you, but let's do it in rebellion. God doesn't bless disobedience. Even though he's told you, we can't go about life going, God called me to do this. Now it allows me to break all moral will. God's moral will to get there. No, it's the guidelines still how to get there. And so we've not done it perfect all of our lives. And all the no's have led us to where we are today. I don't have time, but man, I would love to break down that 2-year seasons where it was a bunch of no's. A bunch of no's. But now we look back and you start going, oh, God saved us from some things, and he taught us a lot of things. And we are here today in Minnesota doing what we do because of the no's, not exactly about all the yeses. So no's are frustrating and confusing, but just be patient. God's no's have led us to where we are. I wrote like this. God can close the wrong doors to get you to the right doors, to the right place. Just ponder that one for a second. So we have God closed doors, open doors. Frustrated plans is the next one. God uses frustrated plans to let us know his will. Again, we're doing personal will today. God's personal will for our lives. He can use frustrated plans. I wrote it. It's quite a paragraph I wrote here. And sometimes I do that so I clearly say what I'm thinking in the moment. Sometimes it is what we're going to call frustrated plans. Some of you, you've been there. Some of you go, I am there right now because you thought you knew what God's will was and you thought it was going to happen. You knew you were going to be attending this school and it didn't happen. You knew you were going to take the job and you didn't get the job. You knew you were going to marry this person and things didn't work out. The door's shut. The plans are broken. And you thought you were certain. And you wondered, did I miss it? Is God mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Is there sin in my life? Do I not have enough faith? Is God holding out on me? And I want to say to some of you, maybe God's no wasn't his rejection, but maybe your frustrated plans was actually his protection. Maybe whenever you thought you knew and God redirected you somewhere else, he was steering you to a better place. Now, as a pastor, I a lot of times get a front row seat to this. Let's talk about people planning to marry people. People are engaged, and the engagement, for whatever reason, gets broken off. And they get remarried, and you don't do this within months of that engagement being broken off. It's years. A decade go by. It's 5 years. Could you imagine if you would have married that individual? Look at where they are now. And look who you married. It's like, holy cow. God rescued me. I was frustrated in that because what I really, really wanted, I didn't get. But God's frustration in your life that he's allowing to be there for a little bit is for your protection. Again, it's changing the way we think, right, Jenny?
Yeah, I mean, I think about those times that happen where something doesn't work out the way that we personally have it planned, and we're like, but this is the way that I thought you said it was going to go, God. Like, when you speak about marriage, like, I was married before Zach, and, married, have kids, start a family, all of that, and it ended before all of that. And if that hadn't have happened, then Zach and my family wouldn't be a thing right now. Like, right. I see it too as like, it wasn't necessarily God's plan that my first marriage end, but God had something to redeem on the other side of that. Yes. That was better than where I was at.
I love the word that you used is redeemed. We don't use that enough around here. I don't think followers of Jesus use it enough, because without Jesus in people's lives, what's the redemptive things happening? Like right. Those that have walked through divorce. Where's the redemption in that? Jesus, the whole story of Jesus is redemption. Me once being lost and being found, I'm being redeemed. Once a sinner, and now I am being saved by grace, being set apart from and for. Redemption is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And Jenny, even to use that word, something inside divorce, it's not ideal, and even that seems like I'm making light of it. But God can redeem it. And here's the truth, Jenny, you wouldn't be sitting at that desk had you not married Zach.
Right.
This church was not your number one choice.
No, it wasn't. And we've shared that story before about how, like, I had my little list of different churches to check out. And this was the first one. Unlocked Church was the first one in Maple Grove that we looked at. And Zach was sold. My kids were sold. You had a bouncy house in the gym. I mean, how could they not be super excited about that? And I literally told Holly, like, we might see you next week. Like, I have other churches on my list, but once Scott rode the one wheel, I was like, well, that's it. We'll be back.
And again, which is a wonderful one. We were a really teeny church. We are not a mega church. We are still a small church. We were small. Yes. And to jump into that going, are they winning or not? It was probably year 4, I think, of Unlocked Church, potentially. But even when you look back, and sometimes it's good for us to look back going, oh, God has orchestrated a lot of things, because I know Unlocked Church is better for their family being a part of. We love their kids. There have been so many moments in ministry of impact in the community through camps and stuff that they are stitched into the stories that God's used, from you leading us into the presence of God. Just the list goes on, right?
And even like, we talk about this a lot too, like in those moments of how we just got to hear about you guys serving in different parts. But like, when you think of the One Wheel, we're doing this service, like we're doing this right now and it all started with the one wheel of being online, of like, you know, like having a YouTube channel and then flipping over to, so in this, the chaos of 2020 and all of these things, like it just, the big will of God, we just don't always get to see and understand. Right. But after some time and you get to turn around and look back, you see the different pieces. But it's in you said it earlier today, it's in the little moments, it's in the daily moments that you are continuously to follow Jesus and make those small moments that when you get to the big moments of decision, where God leads you, you know? And so it's just pretty incredible. I got goosebumps.
It is. When I just think about that whole thing, even about one wheel, I do think some way or another we would have gotten into one wheel because it seems like that's what God wanted to do in his sovereign plan. But because of your yes, you guys are stitched into the story and us reaching those people we talk about. Like, we're on the shoulders of your family because of that. Right.
And if you would have asked us at our first visit if that was the plan, well, we would have been like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is God's plan. But to look back and say, God has been faithful. God has been leading us. God has been using us. All of that is part of God's plan. Yeah. We just didn't know what that would look like and how it would all unfold.
Right, because we don't get the whole map. It's little pieces at a time. What I love about Paul, he has two traits along the journey of him figuring out what God wants him to do as he travels that map we showed you earlier, is that he was not certain, but he was never nervous. He never comes off in his writings like, oh, I don't know, and I'm so perplexed, and I'm losing my mind. But he was uncertain. He did not know the future. And we know that the way he writes. So you go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 16. Let's throw that up on the screen, verse 5. He says this, after I go through Macedonia, I will come to you, for I will be going through Macedonia. Perhaps I will stay with you, perhaps, not sure. Perhaps I will stay with you for a while, or even spend the winter, so that you can help me on my journey, wherever I go. For I do not want to see you now and make only a passing visit. I hope to spend some time with you. For if the Lord permits, all kinds of uncertainty in that paragraph. He doesn't know at all. You can see it right there. I hope the Lord permits this. If it is allowed, I want to spend some time with you. I don't want to just pass by. But he's open-handed in his future going, whatever happens. This is where we have got to get ourselves. Because what happens is we hold our future like this. Is I got to control everything. God's like, no. Stop. Sure, have your plans, but if God shows up going, okay, that's where we're going to go. This is my morning prayers. God, here's what I have on the schedule today. What do you want to do today? If you don't guide me in a direction today, I'm just going to stay the course. But if you have a different plan, then this is what we're doing. Like the other day, you came over to chat with Holly for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I had a plan that day. And I did not do anything that I had to get done in the office. Like,
isn't that funny how that happens sometimes?
I got a phone call that some of the people that attend church were down here doing a job really close here and needed a little assistance. So I go and I'm going to go help them real quick. Saw a need, I'm doing that. And then they're like, hey, we can come and help you on your property after we get done. So at 5 o'clock, they come back. We're outside till 10 o'clock fighting off mosquitoes, trying to cut down a tree for our neighbor and doing a lot of work around here. That was not on my plan. But when you look back at that day, God did a lot of things. I talked to a lot of individuals. I got to hear people's stories in their journey and be able to speak life into. So I didn't check my email right? And some of you, like, you never text me on Tuesday. That's because I was busy. But it wasn't my plan.
Right.
But God still has plans, and it's us being flexible. We say, be fat all the time at camps, Holly. Yeah. We aren't spelling it F-A-T.
What?
We say, we're not spelling it like fat.
Oh, don't be like...
Fat. We're talking about fat with a PH. We changed it.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
How do you not... what? Do you attend our camps? Our mission trip teams?
Yeah, we do spell it F-A-T. Flexible, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe we do. Yeah, I'm throwing you for a loop.
Guys, do you see what's happening?
I got it. Actually, I was my bad, but continue.
I'm like, I have been on every missions trip.
But we don't mean
fat as in overweight.
Right.
We don't mean P-H-A-T as in, like, you're looking good. We mean flexible, available,
redeemed
teachable.
it.
Be fat.
Be fat. I think, again, that's what we got to do with God's will. Our daily plans, be flexible. Most of us are not. We kick and scream, I didn't get anything done. Because why? It's about, we measure our success on do's and not who's.
Yeah, it's good.
Western culture is about doing, not who's. So we've got to shift it on the who's. It's like, what are you doing? So your job sends you off to another place to go look at a factory or to help build something. You're not there to do that. God's using your job to travel like Paul did, to go be a light for the who's.
Because if you remember at the very beginning, the very first weekend of this, God's will is always going to be relational. Always.
Right.
No matter where you're at. It's always going to be about relationships.
So here's where Paul got his confidence. 1 Corinthians 5:7. Now we're using the New King James Version. Don't go there very much because I enjoy the NIV. And so it says there, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And this, if we do this, then we will walk in a manner where we don't get nervous about the future. We trust and we obey. Psalms 119, it's the longest chapter of the Bible. So when you see verse 105, it's because it's a doozy. So much packed in Psalms 119. When I wrote this the other day, I thought, maybe I'm going to memorize that whole thing. It'd be cool. Say you got the whole chapter memorized. There's so much packed in there. It talks about don't be offended. And anyways, Psalms 119. Holly didn't jump on it, so I guess it's not God's will.
You want to know what my first thought was?
Let me hear it.
You just put that online.
No, but I said maybe. I didn't say I was going to. It was not a... I said maybe.
Don't worry, people will check in on that.
They will.
I can start with 105. Go ahead.
The word is a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. Meaning it's one step at a time in this journey. Stop getting so nervous about year 10. And I got to be honest, in church planning, I got nervous, like, are we going to make it even 3 years, 4 years, instead of just getting after it one day? One day we're doing, hey, we made it another day. Now you look back and it's 10 years, like, whoa, look at what God has done for the kingdom. It's a beautiful thing, but your word is a lamp on my feet. So we have open doors, closed doors, frustrated plans, and everyday choices if you wrap this thing up. Everyday choices. God doesn't always give you a sign. Sometimes he gives you a choice.
And I think in that choice, there's always the ability to glorify God in it. Like whatever, like we were just talking, even with our kids, some of the decisions and choices that they've made in the last week or so for whatever they're involved in. Right or wrong, in some cases, Ginny, you talked earlier, there wasn't a wrong choice, but there's always a chance to glorify God with how the choice is.
Yeah, and we could spend a great deal on this, but I think to give you the background to this, we're going to read through 3 verses really quick from Paul writing as he's writing letters back and forth to people. And he says this in Titus 3:12. He says, I have decided to stay there for the winter. I made the choice. As soon as one of them arrived, do your best to meet me at... And he's just saying, hey, but I'm wintering here. Then we go to 1 Thessalonians 3, verse 1. When we could stand it no longer, we decided to stay. Acts 15:36, Paul said, let us go back and see how they are doing. Choices. It's not again, as long as it fits inside God's moral will, choices. We are not robots. We get to make choices. Our kids, we have the 4 bigs are in cross country. Wednesday night is student service here. 2 of them wanted to go to the night practice on Wednesday and do a time trial. And 2 of them wanted to go to Wednesday night youth service.
And not be late.
We didn't think there was a wrong choice.
And we didn't really help them decide, which was very challenging for them. Several of them were looking for what just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
And it was like, what's your choice here? Then we gave them, now here's this is where we try to always parent is like, okay, tell us your decision. Now here's how you navigate on the other side of that. Because the danger in this decision was they could become very pharisaical in their decision and put the other 2 down. Okay? Like this. 2 of them chose to go to the practice. They go to practice. The other teammates like, why aren't your other siblings here? Oh, they don't like the team as much, and they chose to go to church. makes those that decided the team self-righteous. I made the right decision for you, leveraging their bad decision. The same can be true of the two that went to church. I'm more spiritual. God loves me more because I've come to church and I decided to put church over practice. I said both of you will be wrong in those categories and miss out on the blessings God will give you in your choice. Neither one of them were sins. They were polar opposites. And somebody either is going to get a lot of, oh, I can't believe the pastor's saying that. He let his kids miss this. They didn't miss it completely. They were late. I got to give props to Miss Ginny. She's a runner. Last year, she ran the 10K, wasn't it?
10 mile.
10 mile.
Twin Cities 10 mile.
I do that all the time to you. I don't know why I think it's the 10K.
Well, I mean, they do have a 10K as well, but it was the 10 mile.
10 mile. We don't want to cut her 4 miles short.
I was going to say, don't shorten
She ran
her.
10 miles, and then I just figured she went, why would you do that and come to... And then there she is at church. Boom.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
She was like, I got it done on time.
Yeah.
I ran it fast.
She ran it fast. It made me go, what am I doing with my life? Like, I could have done that.
It made me go, what are you doing with your life? No,
So Ginny, in that moment, came to church. Well, that was awesome. It was shocking. It was great. Celebrate. But I also celebrate when she's got to leave early because of a hockey tournament. Because she's going to go be in light in the darkness. She's going to be able to sit out there cheer her kids on. There isn't, you can't. Some pastors make it, perfect attendance is highly spiritual. That's just gross. Now, do I want everybody there all the time? Yeah, I love seeing everybody. Connecting with Zach, connecting with their family, connecting with you. Love it. But we're not getting into heaven better because we had perfect attendance at church. Do I think we should value church? Yes. Does her family value church? I'll let you answer that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say yes for you. She does. I mean, they volunteer and serve in a large capacity. But we want to make sure that you don't, when families choose to go, I'm going to go to hockey or I'm going to go to baseball or those things, to self-righteous on this side. Well, I don't choose that, so you're bad and not spiritual. Right? That's gross. It's gross. We cannot do that. That's where we miss out on the blessings on the sides of our decisions. And hopefully I'm painting that clearly, Ginny, because just watching our kids, it's like, make your decision.
Yeah. And there are some things in life where God, it's not one way or another. Yeah. God is fine with what we choose as long as we are still following God. As long as we are loving God and loving people. Some of the choices just aren't as big of a deal as we make it out to be personally. Personally
and project on other people.
Yes.
Like that's the danger, right? Is like we just project a lot.
Well, and what's right for me isn't necessarily right for you or Holly.
Right.
You know, like it's my choice and my path. It's not Holly's path. I'm not walking Holly's path. I'm not walking your path, Scott. I'm walking Ginny's path after God. And so what I choose might be completely different from what either one of you would choose.
Yes, and it's because, and we say it all the time, we posed a question. When you have a choice, when you get to choose, it is based on your past circumstances, your present, I did it wrong again.
Your past experiences.
Present circumstances, future hopes and dreams. I don't know why lately I'm messing that up. But that's why Ginny's past is different than mine and Holly's and right? All of our pasts are unique.
That's right.
So when it comes to present day decisions, circumstances are different. How many know she got 3 kids, we got 8 kids right there. Decisions are different. We buy a lot of rice. We buy it in big bags.
Someone just asked me, hey, I need some tips on cutting my grocery bill. And I was like, eat a lot of rice.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you don't buy as much rice as we do.
No, probably not as much.
Probably not as much. No. So, again, I'm trying to make fun, little practical things, but the present day circumstances changes the decisions. If their family was to buy a car, they're going to probably get some cool small car. We go buy a car, we got to get a people hauler.
There's not a lot of options.
A bus. You don't get cool cars right now. Like, I dream of the day when it's Holly and I go, a car that's only got like a front seat. Wow.
I don't know if I'm going to like it. I drive small cars and I can't park.
I'm all for it. I would love a Corvette one day.
Well, that's great. I do that.
See,
I don't want to pay for
it. Okay. We've totally got off. So, okay, anyways, I think we're making our point there. Let's wrap this up. Trust God, then take the next step. Because the same God that guided Paul will guide you. Mm-hmm. God's will is better for you than your greatest plans. You don't have to be certain. You just have to be faithful. And that's how we're wrapping up. We gave you so much information today. I think we overcomplicate this thing, but I wanted to spend a great deal on it today because I think this is where we complicate this whole thing.
100%.
And give us some handles on, okay, personal will of God in my life. How do I navigate that? You got a roadmap. Now you got to plug and play. That's the hard bit. Is we all know how to get in shape. It's just the effort to do it. A lot of people don't want to do that. This is going to take effort. There's no shortcuts. There's no, I'm going to poke a little bit fun here. There's no pharmaceutical thing built that I can take that downloads this into my body, okay? Right. It's just good old-fashioned hard work. It's the application. It's learning. And that's what makes it difficult. But it's so good. Again, through Race to the Rail, our experience through and trying to walk through all this, we were at peace on the other side of it. We watched the race. Sure, we had FOMO as the race went on. Wish we were there. But we knew we were right where God had placed us because the car wasn't even fixed till the day before the race. It was like God clearly closed the door. And we still don't know why, but we are okay with it. All right. Well, we're going to pray our way out of here, and then we'll give you a couple of upcoming events. How pray for us.
Lord, we thank you so much for today. We thank you that we can learn and be challenged by you. May this sink into our hearts as on the daily, that as we seek you and make decisions to be more like you, may you guide our steps, and may we trust those, and may we just be faithful with everything that you've put in front of us. We love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, we got a lot of cool things happening. One, the 10th is coming. That's how we've been talking.
The 10th is coming?
The 10th is coming. It's coming.
The 10th is coming.
It's coming now. It could be the 10th of the month. It could be the 10-year anniversary, if you will. But the 10th is coming. We're celebrating the church turning 10. And on Wednesday, September 10th, I'm taking over in the student ministry.
If you didn't know the 10th was coming, you need to get in your email.
Yeah, thank you, right? Students is going to be unhinged is the way I told Lily. She's like, what are you going to do? I'm stoked on this, Jenny. Nice. I get a chance to go and play the guitar and sing.
That's awesome.
And so...
when do we get you to do that on Sunday?
I don't know. You do too good of a job. And Brian, just like, I don't know. I would love to. Every Sunday, I'll be honest, it's hard because I sit there and I want to, but I know you guys killing it. So maybe that following Sunday. Anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's happening. We're going to celebrate online the 10th. We're going to go back in history of Unlocked Church and tell some stories that we don't. The easy ones we keep talking about with Zach and Jenny's family coming in one wheel. But there are ones that people are bringing up like, I forgot about that. And so we're excited about bringing video of that is happening. We have small groups kicking off in October. We'll have a whole sign-up thing for that. Mm-hmm. We have a missions trip that we're going to go as a church to Wisconsin. Windman missions trip. It's this fall, September 19th through the 21st.
If you want to sign up for that, the link is in the email.
In the email. There's a QR code.
Or online.
Yes, you can sign up. And it's $200 if you get a couple nights stay in a great place. And it's beautiful up where the race is. So we're going to go there and help them execute a race. So excited about that. Last thing, if you want to give your tithes and offering to Unlock Church, we make it simple, so simple that Holly can tell you right now.
Text the word unlock to 77977 and it will prompt you and guide you right through it. If you've never done it before, it'll be less than 3 minutes. If you've done it before, it's less than 3 seconds.
No one's really tested this statement. Dwayne made that up, and no one actually knows if it's 3 minutes and 30.
Dwayne made that up, but it really doesn't take that long. They prompt you very easily, so we make it easy. Otherwise, you can mail it. The email is, or I'm sorry, not the email. The snail mail is on our website. You can check that out. And you can also go to our website, unlockchurch.com/give.
You know what's been, every time your shot gets on the screen there, it's wide. You put it back up there. Her cup that's empty, it looks like it has some pink juice in it now. It's like kind of wild.
Background.
Yeah. It was wild.
It's
Jenny,
empty.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We need
to
have
a blast.
It's great to have you.
It's not.
I would love to do it again.
Great, you did great. It is not
That's
like
good.
I think when we first asked people, like, it is pretty chill.
Yeah.
It is a podcast.
And it's fun just to chat.
My kids told me I was overdressed. They're like, you look too formal for the podcast.
It looks great.
I was like, well, what would you suggest I wear instead?
I think you nailed it. It looks wonderful.
And thank you for the pumpkin coffee.
You're welcome. It's pumpkin season.
It's pumpkin. It's getting there. I would not call it pumpkin season yet. We are very fast approaching it.
I think I might
Holly got on the
the
full
house.
fall outfit.
I did because I knew she was bringing me a pumpkin coffee. So I was like, I'm embracing it.
If the weather does what they're saying here, by this evening, yes, it'll feel like fall. I think I saw in the middle of this coming week, we're in the 40s at night.
Woohoo!
Yeah, like 60 on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Bring it.
I love it.
Then we're closer to the S word.
Snow.
No.
And they're predicting a wild winter. I hate when they do that because my hopes get high and then I get dashed.
But it's like,
I got to guard my heart. That's what I'm trying to do, guard my heart there. But anyways, thank you everybody hanging with us. We will see you next week. As Holly was praying earlier, as we wrap this up today, we're wrapping it up next week with the last part of God's will. So we've loved this series.
It's been good. Share those with your friends. Share those with people. Like, they're really easy to copy that link and send it on, because I think this has been, I told you before, I think this has been one of the most enlightening, like challenging, intangible ways to kind of check your everyday. Where's your heart with the Lord? What are you seeking after? You know?
Yep.
It's been good.
Love it. Thanks, everybody. Jenny, once again, thanks for being here. You look great. Your kids, crazy talking about overdressing. My goodness. You just love on your mom, ladies. Okay. Everybody, have a fabulous Sunday. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.